Assalamu alaikum. Have a good day. Welcome to Financial Management eLearning. We are going to discuss business ethics, corporate governance, and business laws. Here in Module 11 is the domain of corporate governance. Its weight is 10%. So within this domain, corporate governance, we have 11 topics. Today we are going to discuss the role and key objectives of corporate governance. So today we will discuss what is corporate governance, the role and key objective of corporate governance, principles of good corporate governance, golden rules of best corporate governance practices. Why is corporate governance important? Corporate governance as risk mitigation, steps to improving corporate governance. So corporate governance, as per the UK Cadbury Committee, the system by which organizations are directed and controlled. So as per the Cadbury Committee, the system by which organizations are directed and controlled is the corporate governance. So what is corporate governance? So corporate governance is the system of rules, practice, and process by which a firm is directed and controlled. Corporate governance essentially involves balancing the interest of a company's many stakeholders, such as shareholders, senior management, executives, customers, suppliers, financiers, the government, and the community. Since corporate governance also provides the framework for attaining a company's objectives, it practically every aspect of management, from action plan and internal control to perform measurement and corporate disclosure. Vital thing. So if we see the key taken out this corporate governance is the structure of rules, practice, and process used to direct and manage the company. So a company's board of directors is the primary force influencing corporate governance, and bad corporate governance can cast doubt on a company's reliability, integrity, and transparency, which can impact its financial health. So as per the PwC, the principal goals of corporate governance are honesty, transparency, accountability, responsibility, independence. So a corporate governance framework need to reflect the culture, style, and issues of the organization. One size does not fit all. So a set of relationship between a company's management, its board, its stakeholders, shareholders, and corporate governance also provide a structure through which the objectives of the companies are set and the means of attaining those objectivity and monitoring the performance are determined. It says OECD, that means the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Goal and key objective of corporate governance: reducing conflict of interest, especially between managers and stakeholders, to verifying that the firm's assets are used efficiently and effectively. And the core attribute of the effective corporate governance system includes a clear delegation of shareholders' rights. Okay, and outlines of managers and directors' responsibility to shareholders, clearly defined standards against which performance of responsibility can be measured, fair and equitable treatment, and accuracy and transparency in disclosure regarding operation, performance, risks, and financial position. Also, it is the rule and key objective of the corporate governance. So, corporate governance is the fundamental 4 pillars: accountability, transparency, responsibility, and fairness. So corporate governance, if we see the purpose, primary purpose, monitor those parties within companies who control the resource owned by investors. And the objective, the primary objective is that objectives of corporate governance, primary objectives are contribute to improved corporate performance and accountability in creating long-term shareholders' value. The principle of good corporate governance, it would be the principle of good corporate governance is our ethical approach. If we see ethical basis for the business and balanced objectives, and also the strategic management and effective strategic process which incorporated shareholders' value, decision-making process, and reflect the first 3 principles, what we say, ethical, balance, and strategic, and giving the way to all stakeholders, and equal concept for all shareholders, accountability and transparency to all shareholders. So we can say that the principles of good corporate governance, it primarily underlines with the ethical approach, balanced objectives, each party pay his part, decision-making process, equal concern, accountability, and transparency. Now, if we see the activity that contribute to governance effectiveness, there are 4 attributes. These are skill and knowledge, process, information, and behavior. So what is skill and knowledge? What are the skills that are needed for the board to effectively execute its responsibility? And the process, what processes are necessary for the board to both understand and properly oversee the objectivity of the organization? And information, is the information received by the board adequate to support effective oversight and decision making? Behavior, does the board behavior support the reinforces strong oversight? So it is the 4 attributes for good corporate governance or effective corporate governance. So look here, clearly identify manager and director of governance responsibility, identifiable and measurable accountability, fairness and equitable treatment in dealings, transparency and accountability, transparency and accuracy in disclosure. It is the right to shareholder and other stakeholders. So if we see the good governance is conscience oriented, it's accountable and transparent, responsiveness, effective and efficient would be. 10 rules of best corporate governance practices. So 5 golden rules are here. One is the ethics above everything, align our business goals, perform strategic management, organize regularly, report honestly. So ethics, a clearly ethical basis to the business. Align business goal, appropriate goal, arrived through the creating of a suitable stakeholder decision-making model, and a strategic management, an effective strategic process which incorporate shareholder value. An organization suitably structured to effect good corporate governance. And reporting system structure to provide transparency, and accountability. So the golden rules for best corporate governance practice as a 5 rules, that means ethics, align business goals, strategic management, organization, and proper reporting. Why is corporate governance important? The corporate governance regulation aim to prompt transparency, integrity, and fairness in the company's business environment. So that's why the corporate governance is important. So corporate governance is the way the corporate policies itself. In short, it is the method of governing the company like a sovereign state. So if we see the failure of Enron and its bankruptcy employees and shareholder is a prime argument for the importance of the solid corporate governance. So we have seen it. Corporate governance is a risk mitigation. Mitigating the risks need the corporate governance properly. So if we see here, the corporate management is strategy, policy, and management is the governance, and risk management is to identify, evaluate, and manage the risks, and compliance measure to ensure quantity conformably with laws, policies, and formalities, and regulatory compliance. This way can be minimize the risks through the corporate governance. A corporation without a system of corporate governance is often regarded as a body without a soul. So corporate governance keeps a company honest and out of trouble. Look here, it is the strategy, identifying assessment responsibilities, and reporting, mapping, analysis, rigors, and corporate governance, risk management, internal control, continuous monitoring, analyze, define, and adoption, and continue the monitoring, just like a watchdog, that possible for risk mitigation within the organization through a good corporate governance. So if you see the steps to improve corporate governance, the steps are: recognize the good governance is not just about compliance. Clarify the board's role in a strategy. Monitor organizational performance. Understand the board, employee, and CEO or MD. Recognize the governance of risks and the board responsibility. Ensure the directors have the information they need. Build and maintain the effective governance structure. Appoint a competent chairperson. Build a skill-based board. Evaluate board and directors' perform and pursue opportunities for improvement. So if we see, there are 10 steps to improving corporate governance. What is that? Recognize the good governance. Clarify the board's role in a strategy. Monitor organizational performance. Understand that the board employees and CEO or MD recognize that the governance of risks is to board responsibility. Ensure the directors have the information they need. Build and maintain the effective governance infrastructure. Appoint a competent chairperson. Build a skills-based board. Evaluate board and directors' performance and pursue opportunities for improvements. So details, you have to read it. I am uploading this sheet in my Google Drive, and download it and read it. So I think it's for today. So what we discussed today, we discussed what is corporate governance, the role and key objectivity of corporate governance, principles of good corporate governance, golden rules, the best practice of corporate governance, What is corporate governance? Why is corporate governance important? Corporate governance is risk mitigation, steps to improving corporate governance. So it's for today. We will meet with you, inshallah, again with my next module. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.